I simply can't get enough of this game. Expedition 33, Sandfall Interactive's Expedition 33. So let me put some respect on their name. Uh, they've created a masterpiece. And it's at this time that I figured out that even through my New Game Plus playthroughs, 100%ing the game, whatever the case, I find myself wanting more. There's waves and whispers of a movie coming out. I do feel like it would be better as a show, but that's besides the point. This game is just so good. It's just so good, and I want more, and I need it. I feel myself craving it. Uh, Venturing to different YouTube channels just to see what people have to say, and I find myself that very few people are having, conversations. There's a lot of reactions about maybe live reactions about maybe what had happened in a moment, or commentary about the state of gaming and how Expedition 33 and Sandfall Interactive are putting the pressure on AAA gaming, which I wholeheartedly agree with. They are changing the game. Independent developers are literally the life and the soul of gaming for us, at least in this decade. And it's time for AAA to catch up. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about these characters. We're here to talk about the characters that made us feel these things, the writing that made us feel these things. And first up, it's time to talk about our foe protagonist. It's time to talk about Gustave. And although we don't get him for long, I think he had an obvious impact on our characters in the game. And I can at least speak for myself as the wielder of the controller. He definitely had an impact on me. For those who come after, this is Gustave. First and foremost, let me make this very clear. These conversations are reserved for people who have completed Act 3 of the game, to include its epilogue. Gustave unfortunately doesn't make it that long. However, I think we could all agree his impact was far more reaching than just Act 1's conclusion. And I think I just kind of want to explain, at least for where these series of videos will kind of feel. They will mostly recap certain highlights and certain moments that are pivotal and important to the development of said character throughout the story. And we'll be able to talk real time while referencing the things that we know from the end of the game to tie all these knots together. So, disclaimer. That was your warning. Spoiler alert. This is for those who come after Endgame. What I love about this game is that the relatable characters and relatable moments stay prevalent throughout. From the beginning of the game, we are met with Gustave, played by Charlie Cox, our beloved Daredevil. We get introduced to Gustave as our main character, player one, and he has all the attributes for it. The developers gave us a pretty straightforward introduction that led us to believe that we'd be carrying him for the long run. From the moments in the prologue with Maël scaling the rooftops of Lumiere and a distant dystopian reality of future Paris, the conversations with Maël feel like banter between siblings. You're in awe of all of this stuff that's going around. You're flying and taking in the setting that they have built and crafted, painted for you to witness. Yet, there's something very homey about this conversation. It is so family-oriented, family-driven. The energy is there. You feel it. And rightfully so, given the circumstances of the plot. But Gustave isn't just there as the brother or the father figure, as Maël would later allude to in the story. You feel it in their interactions, their conversations, the sarcasm even, and the honesty that a sibling would have with you about a love lost and time wasted. You have right here with Maël. But I can't express the importance enough of being a relatable character, especially characters that are voiced. Mind you, the acting was incredible, but seeing Gustave stumble over his words in front of the one that got away and Sophie, and her playful banter right back, cutting the tension of lost love on a day where she leaves this world. He is our fighter, he is our main character, he has a motivation, he has a reason, he has a why. And his why isn't just because of Sophie, as broken as that made us witness. Walking her to the harbor was such a surreal moment, I almost didn't want it to end. I knew it was coming, and even very similar to the end of the game. This entire game, this masterpiece, this crafted just genius, I didn't want it to end. And even though I knew the Gamage was right there, I really just wanted to keep exploring Lumiere. And I'll get that later on, but I wanted it now. We see real emotion after real emotion. Tangible interactions that we can resonate with as humans, and it's so powerful. Gustave even expresses how he's not fine in any way, shape, or form. And I can agree, bro. I was not okay. This was not okay. I was largely in shambles because I felt a piece of myself in the game that was being shown. I know this might be big on the emotion side of things, and if this game can bring this out of me, well, trust me, we're probably going to be living on the side of uncomfortable. I said earlier in another video that, not every game has the capabilities to make you feel these kind of things, to bring out these kind of raw emotions in you, to experience such relatable characters to where you feel so attached and ingrained that your decisions feel like their decisions and their decisions feel like yours, and words and vice versa. The connections just seem endless, and you just feel so ingrained and so captivated and so wrapped up in everything that's going on within this story. But I got off beat. This is about our hero, Gustave. Gustave and Maëlle hope to change things and shift the narrative, change the fate of those who come after. But for those who deal with loss like this after year, we bore witness to the Gamage for the first time. We got to see what loss looked like for Lumiere. We carry whatever weight we dictate is appropriate for the level of grief we feel we deserve with us all the time. But we're also not here to last forever. These moments we have here are short, moments just like the prologue, moments in life. We can have impactful moments at every turn of this short introduction, or breeze through life vicariously and miss all of it. But no matter what we do, we can't escape what's right in front of us. The Gamage is here. These emotions are real and very present. Seeing Gustave and seeing Sophie interact one last time, seeing him put the uniform on that she made for him, it grounded us. And let me not just speak for everyone, it grounded me. These characters felt raw, they felt real. I'll echo this again. I saw versions of myself in Gustave. Hell, I even saw pieces of me in Sophie. These characters are written in a way that takes you on a journey. Yes, they're attractive people, and they got their own swagger and all the things that we love for our RPG characters to have. But the feelings that they portray, they know how to reach out and tug on all of the right heartstrings. Left with that loss, left with that grief, we have to push on. We have to continue, right? This prologue illustrated so well the struggle of choices for these people. Do you fight? Do you stay? Do you procreate? Do you bear the responsibility as a human to continue the survival of your people? These aren't video game tropes. These are the ideas and real conflicts that people battle and have battled. For all the time in this virtual plane and the one where the writers and painters live, but also our world. We'll get into the meta thoughts of what's happening on the outside world when we get to Verso and Maëlle, but this is Gustave time. Post-Gamage, we're introduced to Expedition 33, the disaster expedition. And soon we figure out why. After a short celebration, we are again graced with the humanization of these characters. In the face of grief, we celebrate type vibes. We get introduced to Gustave's sister, and I truly didn't expect for this moment here to come full circle at the end of the game with his apprentices. The stress, but I love this interaction with his sister. She expresses the political importance of what the expedition is and what it does for morale. Just adding another layer to an already deep lore that hits in the hardest of ways, just like her speech, well, Gustave's speech, which I believe also speaks to his character. He's speaking through her and the things that he believes, the things that he wants to believe this expedition to be, to finally get rid of this paintress and rid her from this world. But as soon as we come to find, the majority of the expedition's journey was absolutely cut short. Our potential antagonist absolutely decimates everyone standing in front of him in the most gruesome action sequences that was not only offered an insane amount of action, it also added so many layers and questions of holy shit, what the fuck? Listen, that boy's head was gone. That thing was gone. The scene and music score is absolutely insane. But most importantly, you can see Gustave's very real reaction to literally being in shock. Yes, this character, at least marginally for us, is powerful. He's player one. But these players are fighting in a shadow war inside of painting of a painting. Like this isn't glitz and glamour. Yes, they are our heroes, but we see the weight of the death. We see the weight of each fight. We see the weight of each piece of information. We just don't get it and just slaughter a group of people and just kind of move on with our day. Every action you have and every moment has weight. Every fight largely has a purpose because you get some sort of picto out of it, at least most of the important ones. I never found myself wandering off the beaten path and not feeling rewarded. I know some of the music, this could have been underwhelming if you're especially looking for a cool picto. However, I'm such a big fan of this music that I largely listen to the entire soundtrack daily. It's a vibe. And if you haven't done it yet, I absolutely recommend it. But what comes next is one of the most impactful, if not the most impactful Gustave scenes in the game. There's only a couple others I can think of, but this one for me definitely struck a chord. And a pile of blood of his friends, I'd argue his family. The one thing that mattered the most didn't really seem to hit the same anymore. I can't say that I've seen something that traumatic, but I can definitely say I've wrestled with my own mortality. And seeing Gustave materialize that weapon and put the barrel to his head was tough to watch. But not because it was badly written or misplaced. It just felt so very real. And I know it felt real for a lot of other people as well. I didn't want him to pull the trigger, and I didn't think his story would end that way. But when the screen went black and a voice called out, when that voice called out, and we know whose voice called out.
You do that. We both die.
Listen, it felt amazing. You felt the weight of that moment just get cut, like rug pulled, just from one voice. And I think that's so important to take away from this. That it doesn't take a whole lot. We might be on the brink of complete devastation as an individual, as a person. And all it takes is one thing, one moment, one sentence, a thought to maybe pull someone out of it. I just love this scene. I don't want to stay here too long, but I didn't want to not highlight it because they put it in this game for a reason. Darkness is so fucking overwhelming, and I found myself releasing the death grip I had on my controller, hearing the sound of Lune's voice. And like I said, sometimes that's all that it takes. Every emotionally gripping moment was met with a satisfying combat sequence that hit the mark. When one falls, we continue. Gustave, after reuniting with Lune, we just get more time with Gustave on his journey, moments at camp, reuniting with our first party member in Seal, and moments meeting Eske, which is by far one of my favorite characters in the game. I could argue that a lot of people feel the same way, but the final moment at camp with Gustave definitely hit hard on its own. It's the last real conversation we have with Gustave, and throwing rocks was something I even did with my dad, even if it was briefly. Like, picking up a rock and chucking it into the river is a very great way to how do I say this? To kind of turn the emotions you feel tangible and do something with them. Throw them away. I am no therapist. Let me go ahead and get that out the way. I'm definitely not. I just like talking about my feelings. Been to therapy quite a bit, and I just like talking about them. I think they matter. And if they put them in the game this powerful, we got to talk about it. It ain't always going to be this heavy. It'll definitely be more lighthearted sometimes, but you're here the reason I'm here. I can't get enough. You can't get enough of the game, and I just want to talk about it some more with people who feel the same way that I do. Not soon after experiencing those moments at camp, you're literally thrown into a fight for your life against Reiner, the white-haired man, who we'd soon come to find out is the father of technically Alice, Mael, and Verso A and Verso B. But we'll get to those topics later on. This fight was crazy. You felt so powerless. You felt very helpless, and rightfully so. The game makes you feel it all the way through until Gustave's final moments, which were rough, absolutely rough. My goodness gracious. But even so, Gustave still had such an impact on Mael. It's one of her biggest driving reasons to continue it all. And it was largely Verso's fucking reason to not save him, because for some reason he thought that Mael wouldn't go along with removing the paintress from her place of work, from the monolith. For me, I just felt that Gustave had enough of an impact on Mael that because it was so important to him, and after they would have all found out the truth together, I feel like it was definitely very reasonable. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like it's very reasonable for Mael to probably still have gone along with it, because she ended up not going along with it anyway. But anyways, whatever. Yeah, that just pissed me off. But seeing the emotions of these characters in the midst of their expedition to rid the world of the paintress, like the world stops for a moment. Like you almost feel like you're not playing a game anymore. At least for me, that's what it felt like. This game not only has all the RPG elements you could love as a gamer, from an endless tower to a plethora of secrets, these characters stick with you, their words stick with you, we continue hit so hard. Tomorrow comes, hit so hard for those who come after. Like, come on, like, we continue being at the bottom right of the screen when you finish a fight or fail one is just a small attention to detail that you will always carry with you every time you press an A button to continue the game. But it carried with the rest of our characters just the same. And with that, I leave you with no other way to send this video off than to let this funeral play out in full. More videos will be on the way from Seal and Lune to Mael and Verso. I'll probably do Seal and Lune together. Mael and Verso might also be together. That video is going to be so long. But Eske and Monaco would definitely be a treat. But again, for those who come after, I give you Gustave. See you next time.
Couldn't wait for me, could you? I wish we could.
Rest easy, Gustave.
I'll finish what you started. The paintress, Renoir, they will pay.
No more dome. Just open skies.
I'll save them, Gustave. Emma, your apprentices, everyone.
You can leave it to us. You were always there for me.
I'll save them.
Say hi to Soph for me, yeah?
We could never tell if you were my brother or my father. But to me, you were both. Best brother and father I've ever had.
When one falls, we continue.
Thanks for being my family. See you in the next life.